They called the cops on my wife, then asked her for orders. Our hedge wasn't illegal, it was in the way. And Corinne, she thought she was protecting the neighborhood from photosynthesis. Big mistake. The moment my wife stepped outside, the officer's entire attitude flipped faster than a pancake at a church fundraiser. I've never seen a man go from chest-puffed authority to yes, ma'am, that fast in my life. But here's the insane part. Beverly Marsh's meltdown over our hedge had nothing to do with HOA rules. It was about a $4 million secret that could flatten her life, me, our neighborhood, and half the real estate market. And when the truth came out, let's just say some shrubs weren't the only thing getting trimmed. Stick around, because before I show you how it all unraveled, you need to hear 3 things that'll make this story go from petty HOA drama to full-blown scandal with sirens. Some folks buy binoculars to watch birds. Beverly Marsh bought hers to monitor hedges. This woman was 62, single, and running our HOA like it was a Cold War surveillance state. She wasn't elected, appointed, or respected, but she had a clipboard and a superiority complex that could blot out the sun. If you left your recycling bin out past 7:01 am on collection day, she'd materialize like a tax audit, muttering about community standards, while measuring your lawn with a ruler that looked suspiciously homemade. And every time my wife Olivia's name came up, Beverly's face puckered like she'd bitten a lemon soaked in vinegar and bad decisions. Olivia Hayes had just finished an 8-month deployment aboard the USS Truman, Navy commander, calm under fire, calm under HOA idiocy. And here I was, her husband Jack, a retired Army logistics guy turned house husband, holding a bouquet of sunflowers and prepping to welcome her home. Meanwhile, Beverly was perched behind her living room blinds, whispering into a landline like she was coordinating a sting operation. The moment Olivia's Honda pulled into our driveway, you'd think someone dropped a bomb on Beverly's emotional regulation. She stormed across the yard, hair helmeted into an angry cloud, clipboard clutched like the Constitution of Suburbia. "Stop right there, That hedge is a threat to community safety," she bellowed. Olivia hadn't even gotten her duffel bag out of the car. I was mid-hug, and Beverly looked like she was about to cite us for affection in a family zone. I said, "Beverly, we got approval. Signed, stamped, and blessed by your very own pen." She squinted like facts gave her migraines. "Those approvals are expired!" "The rules changed while you were off gallivanting on some boat." My wife raised one eyebrow like she'd just been asked if the ocean was optional. I could see her gears turning, calm voice, steady tone, "Don't engage the suburban velociraptor." Then came the moment where logic packed its bags and left the zip code. Beverly pulled out her phone and theatrically punched 911 like she was reporting a hostage situation. "There's a military woman at my door and she's commanding me." She shrieked to dispatch like she'd discovered Olivia was actually a hedge-based insurgent. I swear she said the words, paramilitary intimidation through landscaping. Olivia looked at me and asked me, "Is this real life or a deleted Twilight Zone episode?" I didn't know whether to laugh or start Googling HOA escape clauses, And that's how our peaceful Saturday turned into the Battle of Beverly's Bush obsession. Cops were on the way. Our neighbors peeked out like we were filming a reality show. Olivia hadn't even taken off her uniform, and already this woman was trying to court-martial her with a leaf blower. But if Beverly thought she could call the cops and win, she had another thing coming, because in 5 minutes they'd be saluting my wife and asking her what to do. What did the officer say when he saw Olivia in uniform? Let's just say Beverly's HOA dictatorship met a military coup. You ever seen a woman backpedal so fast she verbally moonwalked? That was Beverly when Sergeant Brenner saluted Olivia and asked her how to handle the situation. When Sergeant Brenner spotted the commander rank on Olivia's uniform, the tension evaporated like hot coffee in a Texas sun. His whole stance shifted from stern suburban sheriff to respectful subordinate at inspection. "Mom, thank you for your service," he said, nearly clicking his heels. Meanwhile, Beverly Marsh's face went through all 5 stages of grief: denial, rage, confusion, sputtering, and fake coughing. She stood there, arms folded like a deflated traffic cone, muttering about neighborhood protocol, while Brenner reviewed the documents Olivia handed over, neatly printed, dated, and signed by Beverly herself, The same Beverly who now looked like a raccoon caught inside a vending machine it broke into. "You see here," Olivia said, voice calm like a weathered captain addressing a rookie. "This approval came directly from your HOA signature file, and this, Sergeant, is Mrs. Marsh's handwriting." Beverly leaned in, blinked, and hissed, "That approval is invalid." "The rules have evolved since then." "Evolved?" I muttered. "What is this, Pokemon bylaws?" Sergeant Brenner raised an eyebrow with the kind of quiet disbelief only a man who's seen someone try to outlaw mailbox colors could manage. He reminded Beverly that filing a false report wastes police time. Beverly responded with the elegance of a toddler mid-tantrum. "This is harassment by uniform. I will be filing a formal neighborhood-level complaint." But here's where it got good. Neighbors who'd been peeking through blinds like we were hosting an HOA reality show began trickling outside. Slowly, carefully, one clapped, then another. It was the slowest, most polite uprising I'd ever seen, like a retirement home flash mob. One neighbor whispered to another, "Isn't that the hedge she said looked nice 6 months ago?" Another nodded and said, "Didn't she bring deviled eggs to the approval meeting?" Beverly started backing away, but not before screeching, "This is not over. I still have backup documentation." And with that, she fled to her lair, her 2-story vinyl-sided bunker of passive aggression. Olivia just smiled barely. Not smug, not victorious, just calm. That kind of calm that's earned through years of managing sailors, storms, and now unhinged HOA elders. Sergeant Brenner tipped his cap again and apologized for the interruption. "Mom," he said sincerely, "I don't think I've ever had a call like this." "Neither have I," Olivia replied, "but I'm getting used to civilian landmines." The mood lightened. A few neighbors offered baked goods, one brought over lemonade. And for a brief moment I thought we were out of the woods. But the woods had Wi-Fi, and Beverly had Excel. Because just when we thought she was defeated, Beverly went full HOA rogue. She wasn't retreating, she was rebooting, armed with fictional policies, doctored charts, and a PowerPoint presentation that could only be described as Microsoft Word's cry for help. She was assembling what she called a tribunal, which sounded dramatic until we realized she meant a folding table at the community center with laminated index cards. But what she didn't know, Olivia had faced naval intelligence briefings. Beverly was about to learn what real documentation looks like, and if you think the slow clap hurt Beverly's pride, wait until you hear how her HOA slideshow ended, with Maya on a mic and half the neighborhood questioning their own eyesight. Curious what Beverly called this meeting? I'll give you a hint, It included the words emergency, a national character, and botanical aggression. Nothing says fair hearing like a folding table, lukewarm coffee, and a PowerPoint labeled Operation Neighborhood Purity, the threat within. We knew something smelled funny when the actual HOA president called us the night before and said, "Oh, Olivia, Beverly's trying to hold some kind of emergency meeting tomorrow about you. She didn't notify you or me. You might want to show up." Now let me be clear. This was no HOA meeting. This was a one-woman performance art piece sponsored by Delusion and Rage. Beverly had arranged chairs in a semi-circle like a cult meeting. She had a stack of folders, a pointer stick, and a projector screen like she was testifying before Congress. I half expected her to bring out puppets labeled law and order. The moment we walked in, the room went colder than a divorce mediation in a meat locker. Beverly stood tall, as tall as someone can while wearing orthopedic wedges and a windbreaker that screamed, "Mall security trauma." Without skipping a beat, she clicked her remote and started her slideshow with a title slide that read, "Hedge Hostility, a Pattern of Psychological Infiltration." I kid you not. Slide 1, an extreme, angled photo of our hedge, shot like it had just mugged someone in an alley. Slide 2, a blurry image of Olivia walking to the mailbox in uniform, captioned, "Weaponized Presence." Slide 3, a spreadsheet with made-up crime stats she clearly invented in Microsoft Paint. Then came the kicker. She accused Olivia of using military psychological warfare to undermine civilian confidence. That's an actual quote. This woman uses her rank to intimidate law, beating civilians into submitting to illegal landscaping projects. She barked, flinging a manila folder like she was pitching a fastball. A few neighbors shifted uncomfortably, not because they believed her, but because they were wondering if she was about to pull out sock puppets and reenact a Day on the Days. The HOA president tried to interject, Shouldn't Olivia have a chance to respond? But Beverly just waved him off like he was a cashier asking if she wanted a receipt. That's when Olivia stood up, calm as a bomb technician with a timer in her hand. She opened her laptop, clicked once, and mirrored the screen to the projector. "Let's go over a few things," she said, voice smooth as steel wrapped in silk. Slide 1, the original signed hedge approval, Beverly's signature, big as Texas. Slide 2, an email from Beverly, time-stamped 5 days later, saying your hedge is a lovely touch to the community. Slide 3, the HOA bylaw on emergency meetings, which clearly states that only elected officers can call one, and affected parties must be notified. Olivia then turned to Beverly and said, "You don't hold any elected position in this HOA, do you?" Silence. You could hear a nose hair twitch. By the time Olivia finished her presentation, complete with a timeline, digital receipts, and a footnote section, The room looked like it had just watched a magic trick involving common sense and public humiliation. Can anyone explain why Mrs. Marsh, who signed this approval, then organized a secret tribunal to dispute it? Olivia asked, casually sipping from a thermos labeled USS Truman. Beverly stammered, blinked, and finally exploded. This is all just advanced manipulation. She was trained for this in military boot camp. One neighbor muttered, so was my nephew, he mostly learned to fold shirts. The HOA president stood up, closed his folder, and said, Olivia, your hedge is in full compliance. This meeting is over. Beverly, trembling with rage, hissed, you're all going to regret this. You have no idea what I'm capable of. Then she stormed out, binder in hand, muttering about civilian courts and federal subpoenas. We thought that would be the end of it, until the next morning when Beverly discovered Facebook, and the world discovered Beverly. The truth doesn't shout, it just opens the folder, flips the page, and lets delusion self-destruct on a projector screen. You'd think after getting roasted by a spreadsheet and a Navy commander, Beverly would take the hint. Instead, she launched a full-blown smear campaign online, with hashtags, fake tears, and more Photoshop than a plastic surgery brochure. Ever seen a 62-year-old go viral for lying about a war hero? Yeah. Things are about to get digital. If Beverly's Facebook page was a bakery, she was serving hot loaves of lies with a side of hashtags like Play Terrorist Topiary and Fay Veterans Gone Rogue. The next morning, Beverly logged onto Facebook like it was a battlefield and started typing with the righteous fury of someone who thinks HOA bylaws are legally binding on the Pentagon. Her post was dripping in melodrama and low-resolution Photoshop. She actually edited a photo of Olivia standing by our hedge to make the shadow look like a weapon. The caption, this woman uses her uniform to terrorize civilians and enforce illegal shrubbery. Within 2 hours she had over 300 shares, mostly from folks who couldn't tell the difference between military rank and mall cop cosplay. She tagged local news, threw in some fake witness quotes, and finished with a paragraph that sounded like she plagiarized it from a 90s action movie script. Then came the hashtags for Justice for Beverly, Fay Protect Our Neighborhood, and my personal favorite, Operation Liftstorm. I'm not kidding. She acted like Olivia was planning a botanic coup. The photos were so aggressively filtered and cropped, our backyard hedge looked like it was smuggling uranium. What made it worse? Some people bought it. Coffee shop baristas who once complimented Olivia on her service suddenly handed her drinks like they were passing a court summons. A sticky note appeared in our mailbox, get out now. This isn't a base, it's a neighborhood, and one neighbor. Igged our car, organic eggs, but still. That night Olivia sat on the edge of our bed in full silence. She didn't cry, not at first, She just stared down at her uniform like it had somehow betrayed her, and when she did finally speak, her voice cracked like a ship's hull hitting a reef. I've served 16 years, Jack, I've handled missile drills, emergency landings, and deployments in places Beverly couldn't pronounce without choking on her own judgment. But this is the first time I feel like I'm losing to someone too petty to even salute the truth. And that was the first time I saw my wife, my commander, break. But what Beverly didn't count on, veterans don't stay silent, they mobilize. And that week, mobilize they did. First came the Facebook counter campaign for Stand With Commander Hayes. Then came the VFW post commander, who called every vet he knew in a 30-mile radius. A few days later, over 200 veterans and military families flooded our cul-de-sac with signs, flags, folding chairs, and the kind of calm, righteous presence that makes bullies like Beverly turn into garden gnomes. A Korean War vet gave Olivia a salute so crisp, even the HOA president started crying, and he wasn't even in uniform. One lie can light a fire, but 1,000 veterans, they bring the flood. And sometimes the truth doesn't knock, it rolls in like a parade. They tried to cancel a commander. Instead, they awakened the veterans. And just when the tide was turning in our favor, a real estate bombshell dropped that explained why Beverly was so obsessed with our shrub. You'll never guess what our hedge was blocking, You know you've lost the plot when you go on live TV to bash the military and the comment section unites like it's the 4th of July in your front yard. Beverly always dreamed of being on television, just not as a national symbol of unhinged HOA vengeance. She waltzed onto the Channel 9 news set like she was accepting an Oscar for Best Delusion in a lead role. Wearing a pastel cardigan and what looked like a sympathy scarf, she leaned into the camera with fake tears ready to drop on cue. I am a 62-year-old widow living in fear of a uniformed intimidator, she declared, sounding like she was auditioning for a hostage video filmed in suburbia. The reporter, bless her journalistic patience, asked politely, "But didn't you sign their landscaping approval?" And Beverly snapped like a breadstick. That was different. She manipulated me with military dominance. Then came the line that turned her 15 minutes of victimhood into a bonfire of public backlash. When asked what ship Olivia had returned from, Beverly waved her hand and spat. I don't care what ship she was on. That was it. That was the moment America decided they'd had enough HOA nonsense. The live comment feed lit up like Christmas at a Marine base. Is she really talking trash about a Navy commander? This woman's about to get discharged from her own ZIP code. That ship protected your freedom to be this dumb, Beverly, and the consequences came in waves. First, 3 local licenses publicly plus it with support our veterans signs, with an unspoken accept Beverly clause. Her favorite bakery refused her online order with a note that read, "We're fresh out of respect." Her chiropractor told her they no longer accepted appointments from those who dishonor uniformed service. Even her lawn guy, yes, her lawn guy, texted her to say he wouldn't be trimming hypocrisy this season, and the HOA, They met in an emergency session and issued a formal censure for conduct unbecoming of a community member. Her house was now known as the Karen Bunker. Then came the moment that truly broke her OA empire. A military family moved into a house 3 doors down. On their first day, they walked over to our yard, handed Olivia a homemade casserole, saluted, and said, "Welcome home, Commander. We've got your 6." Meanwhile, Beverly stood in her window, peeking through blinds that now doubled as shame shields. She watched as flags appeared on porches, neighbors clapped. Me and one child taped a crayon drawing of Olivia to her front door with the words, "Real hero." Beverly tried to call code enforcement to complain. They told her to file her grievances somewhere else, preferably under irrelevant. You can't Photoshop character, and you can't lie your way out of a uniform's honor. Beverly learned that patriotism isn't a prop, it's a community built on earned respect. Beverly vanished from the street, but not from the story. Because what she did next, it had nothing to do with rules. It had everything to do with a 300,000 motive and a hedge that blocked her goldmine. Beverly wasn't just mad about a hedge, she was mad about a blocked $1 million view, and about to learn the market doesn't reward drama queens with delusions of Zillow grandeur. 3 days after her TV meltdown, a real estate developer named Mitchell Clark knocked on our door holding a manila folder and a face full of, "You're gonna want to sit down for this." He introduced himself as the lead developer of a new luxury shopping center being built just across from our neighborhood. And then he dropped the bomb. Beverly contacted us 8 months ago about listing her home once construction was visible. Problem is your hedge blocks the view from her front windows. Olivia blinked. I laughed. Beverly had launched a suburban war because she couldn't see the Cheesecake Factory from her couch. According to Mitchell's projections, Beverly's house, pre-hedge outrage, was worth close to $900K with a clean line of sight to the coming retail mecca. With our 4-foot fortress of foliage in place, closer to $600K on a good day, And that was before she became the human cautionary tale of homeowner hubris 101. She had signed our landscaping approval with full knowledge of what was coming. And like a cartoon villain, she planned to rescind it once bulldozers broke ground. Her entire campaign of fake bylaws, fake meetings, and real meltdowns was fueled by a $300K grudge and a hatred of anything taller than her ego, But karma's a brutal appraiser. Word spread faster than fertilizer in a windstorm. Every time her house got listed, a neighbor would whisper, "That's the Karen house," to the showing agent, And the prospective buyer would moonwalk back to their car. One open house ended when a vet recognized her from Facebook and muttered, "Ain't that the one who tried to cancel a commander over a bush?" The couple left without even removing their shoes. Her listing price dropped from $80.99K to $7,759K, then to $599K. It sat like a forgotten casserole at a potluck, sad, crusty, and radioactive. The cherry on this tragedy Sunday, her realtor eventually told her, "You may want to consider selling under a pseudonym." Beverly responded with a shriek that could cut glass. "I am a respected community advocate! This house deserves premium market position!" Instead, she got Zillow purgatory. Her HOA censure popped up on public records, and her viral video lived rent-free in every buyer's YouTube recommendations. Even cash buyers wouldn't touch it. The internet never forgets, and neither do mortgage brokers with Google. If you gamble with lies, don't be surprised when the truth calls your bluff with interest. Beverly's hedge war didn't just prune her dignity, it uprooted her whole future. Beverly wanted a $900K sale. She got a $500K mess and an angry realtor. But the final insult. Wait till you hear who buys her house, and how they celebrated on move-in day. They say karma's patient. But in this case, it had a mortgage, a discount, and 2 kids who now use Beverly's old yard as a slip and slide. The "for sale" sign in Beverly's yard finally vanished, but not before being discounted harder than Black Friday patio furniture. Me her final sale price, $545 all down from $899K. That hedge didn't just block her view, it blocked her dreams, her dignity, and apparently her retirement cruise. When the moving truck pulled up, she was alone, no neighbors waving goodbye, no casseroles for the road, just cardboard boxes, one overwatered fern, and a face that looked like it had been stuck in permanent Yelp review mode. As she loaded her last box, I swear I heard her mutter, "This neighborhood never deserved me," and who swooped in to buy her former castle of chaos. A young Air Force couple, Captain Sarah Mitchell and her husband, both looking like a Norman Rockwell painting, had joined the Air Force and started a lemonade stand. Their 2 kids immediately turned the backyard into a bounce house battlefield, giggling right where Beverly used to take hedge measurements like she was training for the HOA Olympics. On move, in day, they hung a flag so big it looked like it could be seen from space, if space had a petty view of poetic justice. Olivia waved from our porch. Captain Mitchell saluted back. I swear somewhere in the distance, the national anthem started playing, probably in Beverly's mind. Meanwhile, Olivia received a Navy commendation so crisp you could slice prosciutto with it. The citation read, for exemplary conduct, professionalism and grace under public scrutiny during civilian conflict. Translation for not body, slamming a Karen on local news. And with that honor came a promotion. Commander Hayes, officially. Our neighbors threw a surprise celebration, complete with cupcakes that read, "Let Freedom Hedge," and a hedge-shaped cake so detailed it came with its own frosting tape measure. The HOA even installed a plaque in front of our now iconic shrub, calling it a symbol of community growth and unity. I nearly cried. Then someone made hedge-shaped cookies and I cried again, this time from laughing. Then came the headline that tied a bow on the whole saga, Commander Vis Corrine, the shrub that united a neighborhood. Front page of the local paper, with side-by-side photos of Olivia saluting and Beverly scowling like someone just revoked her bingo privileges. The article called Olivia a model of service and resilience. It called Beverly, and I quote, a reminder that rules without empathy breed ridiculousness. That quote now lives on my fridge, right next to our HOA's new motto, respect responsibility and shrub clearance forms. Sometimes the smallest hedge defends the biggest values, It's not about the branches, it's about the backbone behind them. The war was over, but fate had one final ambush, one last surprise in aisle 3, Beverly, in a grocery store, With an apology so awkward it belongs in the hall of regret. I spotted her near the freezer section, right between the frozen peas and poetic justice. Beverly stood hunched over a bag of mixed vegetables like it owed her money. Same windbreaker, same clipboard, now retired to grocery list duty, She glanced up and froze mid-reach, her expression a mix of regret, defeat, and someone who just remembered they left their reputation in aisle 6. Olivia, in uniform, was standing by the dairy section. Calm, composed and freshly promoted. The contrast, startling. It was like watching a rusty lawnmower stare down a Navy battleship. Slowly, Beverly walked over, each step looking like it cost her 5 years of ego. Commander Hayes, I owe you a sincere apology, she muttered, barely able to make eye contact. I was completely wrong. I let greed turn me into someone I don't even recognize. Olivia didn't flinch. She just nodded once, firm and gracious. I appreciate that, she replied. And just like that, she turned away, with the kind of poise that says I accept your apology, but I won't carry your guilt. Beverly stood there for a moment, as if waiting for redemption to come in a gift bag. It didn't. Back in the neighborhood, things had bloomed, literally. The hedge, officially named Olivia's Wall by the local kids who decorated it with ribbons every 4th of July. The HOA turned the once petty battleground into a peace garden, complete with a bench engraved, strength roots deep, when it grows from respect. Olivia became the quiet hero of Pinecrest Circle. Meet the woman who didn't just stand her ground, she landscaped it. Parents told their kids the story like a modern suburban fable, be brave, be kind, and don't go full Beverly. Meanwhile, Beverly, moved into a 1-bedroom apartment 3 towns away, next to a gas station and a dry cleaner that always looked mildly haunted. She tried to join the new HOA there, but word had traveled. Now she was known as that lady with the clipboard incident. Her house, once her kingdom, was now filled with laughter, kids playing catch, and a flag that waved like a gentle reminder. This home is guarded by dignity, not delusion. Every time someone trimmed a bush, the neighbors would whisper, "Careful, don't go full Beverly." When you fight for respect with dignity, the world doesn't just stand behind you, it salutes. 1 year later, at the Community Spring Festival, the HOA unveiled the newly renamed Park Commander's Garden. There was a ribbon, cutting a band, and cupcakes shaped like little hedges. Olivia stood with a smile as kids ran past her, chasing kites and shouting, "Tag! You're Beverly!" We all laughed, because in our town, that's now a playground insult. Ever seen someone lose 300K trying to snip a hedge, or destroy their life with a PowerPoint? Share this story if you've ever had to deal with a clipboard crusader in Crocs, and hit subscribe for more HOA takedowns that prove petty power meets poetic justice. Me. As Olivia stood beneath the new park sign, Commander's Garden, she didn't gloat, she didn't need to. The hedge still stood, but so did something far more important. Me. A community that finally learned the difference between power and pride. She didn't just win a battle over shrubs, she rewrote the script on what grace under fire really looks like. And let's be honest, it's easy to lose your cool when someone throws lies, threats, and PowerPoint slides at your head. But Olivia reminded us all, especially me, that dignity is louder than drama when you carry it right. You don't have to outshout the wrong people, you just have to outlast them, with facts, backbone, and one beautifully trimmed symbol of boundaries. If you take anything from this story, let it be this. Me, stand tall, stay calm, and when someone tells you, that's just how it is around here, be the one who changes what "ear" means for the better. If this story made you laugh, nod your head, me, or feel a little more grounded, share it with a friend who might be facing their own Beverly situation, me. Leave a comment and tell us what part hit home, or cracked you up. Send this to someone who needs a reminder that respect isn't given, it's earned, and hit subscribe because these HOA dramas, they're just warming up. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens when next door turns into next episode.